So the formation of natural gas is the same as petroleum. It's very similar to the formation of coal with just a slight variation. So where coal formed from large or giant plants that were located in swamps, for natural gas, it's more of tiny plants and animals that were in the ocean, and the rest is pretty much the same. They died, were buried, and they were subjected to high amounts of heat and pressure. And over time, again, this started 300 million years ago, and it took millions of years. So that much time passed, and formation of natural gas and petroleum occurred. Today, we drill to reach these deposits of oil and gas, and we'll get into the type of mining and the effects of mining throughout this presentation and for the next unit, which is petroleum. So when you think of natural gas and petroleum, you're going to see these words conventional and unconventional. And really, to sum it up, conventional means traditional mining is what is used to extract this type of natural gas. Unconventional is pretty much untraditional types of mining. So conventional is going to be found near petroleum, which is standard. Unconventional is found near rocks or coal beds. You're digging deeper. It's larger to extract, harder to extract, so it's going to have a lot more effect on the environment. And a word that's linked to this type of extraction is fracking. So whereas we drill and strike oil, and natural gas deposits are found right on top, and we extract those. These we have to go further down. We have to apply large amounts of water and pressure in order to obtain, and basically cracks rock, and then the gas deposits on top of the rock come up. So natural gas is 50 to 90, and I know that's a strange percentage, but it's mainly made up of methane is what you have to know. And then you want to associate words like butane, propane. Those are words that also describe conventional natural gas. Unconventional is primarily methane. There's very little other compounds that make up this form of natural gas or are released through the mining and using of this form of natural gas. Here's a picture of the difference. So as I mentioned, conventional drilling is basically tapping in to a reserve that is known reserves and extracting oil. The pressure pretty much brings the oil up, versus unconventional drilling involves pouring large amounts of water with pressure down to these areas of rock beds, and then in that rock bed are layers of gas, and they are pushed back up and extracted. Same type of gas. I guess the efficiency, you could say, immediately diminishes because the amount of energy used to extract is obviously more. So the throughput or the final energy is less. Who holds the largest reserves? Basically, Russia, Iran, Qatar are the three top leading reserve holders, although there's a lot of differences taking place because of unconventional methods of extraction. But technically, no matter where you look, that's who pretty much has the most of natural gas reserves. Once the natural gas is mined or extracted, it's usually converted immediately into these two forms of natural gas, which is liquefied natural gas or what they call liquefied petroleum gas. Both are forms of natural gas, even though it says petroleum because it's a mixture. But the reason it's done is because it makes it easier to transport. And again, remember that it's mainly made up of methane versus the petroleum, you'll see words like propane and butane. And again, we do this because it makes it easier to transport. Gas takes up a lot more space in a container than it does if it's converted into liquefied form. I think it's like 60% more space earned, and it's less risk involved. Gas transport becomes highly reactive and flammable, and in the liquid form, it's more stable. Major uses of natural gas, as we mentioned in previous slides, the main use is for industry. The second main use is actually direct use in your home for electricity production or heating and cooking. There are electric power plants of natural gas, and I'll show you them in a minute, but mainly the effective use of natural gas is to use directly into your home or tap it directly into your home. Here are some products made from natural gas. And again, you don't have to know these for the test, but just to give you an idea, plastic, medicines, all come from fossil fuels. So keep in mind that industry that you are very familiar with products, fertilizer, antifreeze, solvents, all these come from fossil fuel remains. Here's the process of natural gas converting into electricity, and it is the same exact process as coal. So if you know that process, you know this process, and you're going to know many. The difference is you start with natural gas, it's burned, water is added, steam is produced, spins the turbine's connected to electric generator, and that sends an electric current to your home. Same energy transformations. Chemical would be the natural gas, heat would be in the boiler, steam causes mechanical energy, and the spinning of the turbine is the same, and then the generator starts the electric current. This is an example of the process involved from extraction all the way to the use in your home. And you have a production, which is basically mining and refining. And then you have transmission, which is the transformation from the plant to your home, or from the refining to your home in a tank storage, and then the distribution. And I'll go back to this in a minute and show you how much energy is gained. Sorry, I went to the wrong slide. So when you use it in the home, always remember that this is used for cooking, heating, and cooling, because wherever you can heat, you can cool. But natural gas tanks can be placed directly into the home and provide energy. So what are the advantages of using natural gas? Well, natural gas is one of the cleanest fossil fuels. It produces 70% less carbon dioxide emissions than coal, and it's the way it burns. Think about the burning of natural gas. Let's go back to this slide so you can see it's a blue flame, whereas coal and petroleum burn with a red flame. That is actually part of the reason for the less emissions. And it's not just less emissions during burning, it's also less emissions during mining. It's the cheapest of the three. So the kilowatt hours, if you're going to go by that for electricity production, if you're going to compare coal and natural gas and then other forms of electricity production, natural gas is relatively cheap. And even when petroleum prices went up, natural gas stayed relatively low. The fact that you can use natural gas in your home makes it extremely efficient. It is 90% efficient when used directly into the home. So keep that in mind, and I'll show you a slide in a minute of how efficient it is. And again, as mentioned, because we convert it to liquid natural gas, it's easy to transport. So whereas there was a long time disadvantage of the transportation of natural gas, now with the technology of transforming it to liquid natural gas, it became easy to transport. Here's an example of efficiency. So you have a coal-powered plant, and you start with 100% of energy, and 66 gets lost in generation, 21 gets lost in transmission, so from the plant to your home, and then you end up with 31% of the energy. And I didn't mean 21, I meant 2.1 lost in transmission. Here, you got 100% energy. There's only an 8.1 loss of transmission because it goes from that tank straight into your home, and then you've got 91% of the energy saved. So if you look at the pie chart, the efficiency is way higher because it's direct use. Coal has to go through many energy transformations, and that would be the same for coal and natural gas being processed through a plant in order to provide electricity to a home versus direct use, as the bottom diagram shows. Disadvantages to natural gas? Well, like every fossil fuel, there's going to be greenhouse emissions. Even though it's clean, because natural gas is mainly composed of hydrocarbons and nitrous oxides and sulfur oxides and methane, which is the main component. Remember, it has all other components of organic compounds because it is a fossil fuel, but mainly methane, which is a greenhouse gas and leads to global warming. It's very explosive, as we mentioned before, and that's why you have to convert it to liquid natural gas. Most of the countries that have large amounts of natural gas are considered violent or terrorism areas, so that's definitely a disadvantage and something to be very concerned with.